So I think the first time I saw this case, I didn't think much of it because he already confessed, and um, he told them where the body was and all that, and he made the excuse that he his wife killed his children. That's why he killed her. And it's like, the first time I heard that, I was like, oh, he must be an asshole. Like, he just want to blame his wife and, to get away with murder and stuff, right? And so I didn't think much of it. I just thought, okay, it's done. But then it keep popping up. Like, I keep seeing, like, how YouTube, when you click on one, they show you more and all of this. And so they show about his life and his wife's, Shanann's, social media and stuff, and how he interacted with his kids, and how everyone's around him, his families and his friends, are saying he's a really nice guy, calm, and he's not one of these asshole and all these things. So, and it got me thinking, like, I know everyone thinks he killed the whole family, and I kind of want to run that scenario through my head, and the more I find out about this case, the more it doesn't make logical sense to me, like that he would kill his whole family so he can be with this person that he barely met. Like, they have a relationship, but it wasn't that long. It just started, and and they say the reason is he wanted to kill them to collect insurance, life insurance, and all of that. And it's just like, if you were gonna kill your family to get life insurance, wouldn't you need to have the body to be sure that they're dead for them to pay up? Insurance people is not gonna pay you if they don't see the body. They're not gonna, their business is to collect the money. They don't really want to pay out, right? So why would he dump their body where no one would find it? It's just, something about it doesn't make logical sense to me. And he doesn't seem like like some kind of sleeping psychopath. Like, he's been all nice and stuff, but really he's this dark, evil person, right? And he's not like a psychopath who go around killing people. Those people, they pretend to be normal, everything is perfect, but really, at nighttime they come out and they kill a lot of people, right? But this is his family. He's killing his whole family just to be with somebody, and it just doesn't make much sense. Like, nothing makes sense. But his excuse that his wife killed his kids and he killed his wife. And so I say to myself, let's consider that situation. Let's play that scenario in your head. Could that be possible? And I went through that scenario, and I said to myself, what does Chris has to lose or gain? And what does Shanann have to lose and gain, right? What would make her do that? If he says she killed their children, would she be able to do that? So let's think about it. Chris, he's wanting to get a divorce. You can see from his text that it's not something he didn't want. It's like, okay, I don't want a divorce because it's going to ruin my life. I have to pay child support and all this, and so I don't want a divorce. But he wants a divorce. He wants to end this, and he wants to move on to someone else. And so it doesn't make sense that they say he doesn't want a divorce, he just wants to get rid of the family, right? And so that doesn't ring true to say that he killed his family so because he doesn't want a divorce, right? And so what else is there? And so you have to wonder, okay, he doesn't have much to lose when he leaves, and he has quite a bit to gain because he's in love with someone else, and he's going to start a new life and all this, right? So then you consider his wife, Shanann. What would she lose or gain from this? She would gain nothing. She would lose the one person she believes would be there all the time, right? And just imagine, what is she going through that night or that morning? Like, she's coming home from a business trip, and she's tired, and she's not feeling well, and she's pregnant with his new child, and she's going to sleep, and he wakes up around, to go to work around 5 or 4, whatever, and he decides to tell her he wants to, end the marriage. He's really serious. He wants to leave, right? Just imagine what she would be feeling. Like, okay, they've been having a lot of fight. They've been having all this, issue with his parents and stuff, and she's like, yeah, we have issue, but I would never imagine he wants to actually leave. And so, she's, I don't think she would be feeling that great. Like, someone is leaving her, and she has a new child coming, and she has this, very stressful business where she has to appeal to people to buy stuff and to make her life seem like she's all organized, she's perfect, like her life is, great, and, people would listen to people who have good life, right? They must be doing something right. So she has so much to lose. Like, she must be feeling depressed. She must be crying like out of control at that moment when, all this is throwing into her face, like that he's gonna actually do it, leave her with all this, like, she's gonna be a single mother. She's not gonna have any support to raise this, child or something. She's just, fear kicks in. She just feel all these emotions that, that this is gonna be the toughest thing in her life, that, she's gonna have to deal with this by herself. Like, he was always there, and he was there when she was sick. He was there when she needed him, and all of this, and now he's willing to actually leave. That, and that's 4 a.m. He's telling her this, of all the time to tell her, right? That, I think that is a mistake on Chris's part, to just tell her, because it's like he couldn't wait, right? He wanted to tell her in person, and he thought, what's the big deal, that she would just understand, I'm not happy. You don't want to be with someone who's unhappy, right? So he figured, she will have the day to think about it, and, he's going to go through his day and everything would be fine. But he didn't imagine what was going to happen. Like, I would imagine that she would be in a depressing state of mind. She is in fear. She is, angry because she knows he's cheating. There's another woman involved. And so I think she likely went to her youngest child And I don't know if it would help sh if the light was on and she can see her child and realize that this is her child, and she's beautiful, she's perfect. How a mother or a father would feel about their child. And because the light was off, I think she was also in a depressing mood, and she's crying, right? And just the hopelessness that she probably felt at that moment, that everything is just gonna be shattered, like everything is be destroyed because he's gonna leave, right? And it's like everything will be gone, kind of thing. So I think in that desperate moment, she felt like all hope is gone, and she just, I think, with her crying, tears in her eyes, and she just wanted to end, and she didn't want to leave her children alive either. And so she put her hand over she put her hand over their mouth, and she suffocated them. And I think once she actually did that, it was pretty much no going back. It's like it only takes a few seconds, not even a minute probably, and it was over. And she just felt like this is it, like she already done one, so there's no turning back. So she goes to the older child, and at this time she's probably crying, she's probably like uncontrollably, and probably waking the older one up, and so she probably struggled. And after that, I think she probably screamed at Chris. Maybe he was downstairs, probably screaming at him, saying, "They're gone. This is what you wanted. This is, you wanted to leave. You wanted to go. Well, they're gone now. You don't need to worry. This is what you wanted. This is all your fault," right? Like it's like it's all his fault that he's willing to leave all of this, and she just helped him to leave all of this. And so she goes and runs into the bed, and probably on her bed crying, and probably Chris is running up to see what the hell she's talking about, and she's probably mumbling, they're gone, like, and he probably ran to the room, checked on both of them, and realized they're actually dead. His children are dead. And he probably ran to her and said, "What did you do? How could you do this?" Like choking her at the same time, wanting an answer, wanting her to say why, give him a reason why she would do something like this, as if she has an answer, like, so he's choking her to get the answer. And by the time he realized she's gone, she's dead too, and he's finally realized that his wife is gone, his kids are gone, and he's the only one alive. And fear in him rush in. And you gotta remember, fear is something we don't, experience a lot. Like life and death situation isn't something we deal with in the normal day to day, right? So when it hits a person who never really deal with this, they panic. They don't know what to do. It's just like someone jumping off a cliff, or parachuting. They they know they're safe, but yet they can't jump because their fear says there's a chance you can die, right? So, but in this case, his fear is that, oh my God, they're gonna blame me. They're gonna say I have a mistress, I have somebody, I'm cheating on her, and I killed the family, and his fear of being in prison, knowing that he killed his wife, it just, that fear rush in and takes over. It's trying to make him survive. It's trying to figure a way to not be in prison, for the rest of his life. And so once that fear comes into his mind, it just overtakes any reason and logic, right? It just becomes this way of surviving. And so I think he has to go to work. He has to pretend everything is normal. So he couldn't leave them in the house, because then how did they die? And so all these things, 100 things are rushing into his head. And so he decided at that moment he's going to take them with him and figure where to put them. And so what does he do? He takes them, and once he made that decision to take them with him, then it's almost like a gambler. They go into a table, they gamble, and then they go, and then somehow they lose big, and they say, oh, you know what, I can make this work, I can make it better, I can get everything back. Like, he wants to get everything back, like that he's gonna move on and he's gonna go and live another life. He still wants that. So it's sort of like that. It's like he wants a chance to be able to do that. And every step he takes, it just goes deeper into the, over his head, just like a gambler. They think they're gonna win. They're gonna, keep betting until they realize they're over their head and they're in debt so much that they can't get out of. So he is doing that, and in fear he just go with the motion. Just, okay, so now I take them. People say, but he's evil, he throws them like trash. Okay, but he is acting in fear. He's trying to figure out, okay, where should I put them? He's not exactly having a place that, one day I'm going to kill my wife and kids, and here's a place I can put them, right? Or, let me go to my friend. Can I leave my dead wife and kid with you for now? Because I don't know what to do right now. It just, there's not too many options here. And when you do something the first time, you don't know what the hell you're going to be doing. So when he took them, that whole chain of reaction, chain of event will continue. And once he gets there, he knows his place of work. He knows that there's a he can put a body in there, and so that's what he did. And it fits, his children fits in those tanks, and his wife didn't, so he needs to bury them. That he had to do what he had to do to survive, kind of thing. I'm not saying he's right, I'm not saying any of that, I'm just saying why these things happen. And so now that he went this far, it's almost like he's over his head. This is it. He already committed. Now he can't go back. He can't undo whatever he just did. So he had to pretend as much as possible, to pretend that he needs to lie as much as possible, for his life depends on it, right? His freedom depends on it. So he lies, and everyone says he's a liar, he's this. It's part of the fear factor, the part of all this, whatever all of this event happened, right? So I think after analyzing and just rethinking this whole scenario, and I believe this is probably what happened, and I think the only thing to kind of prove it is that, like, if he kills his family, right, then he would kill them one by one as they're sleeping, right? And he wouldn't, like, tell his wife, oh, I kill your kids, come have a look, right? So I think if they can find, like, teardrop or something of Shanann's, in the bed of the child, and I don't know if the older child might have scratched Shanann, who knows, but I think, maybe some teardrops, some makeup, maybe she didn't go take a shower before she came home because it was late, so, maybe makeup, when you're crying, makeup will fall onto the bed and stuff like that. I think that would pretty much prove that she was the one who killed the children. Chris just react to all of this happening, and yes, he should be charged for, I think, second-degree murder of Shanann. I don't think he should be charged for the children, and for him trying to hide the evidence and stuff. You can charge him for that, but I think it's just a bad situation where I think everyone's involved is never wanted something like this to happen. It's just one of those things that life just happens. Like, people react differently when we don't know how other people will react, right? Like, I don't think in a million years he would ever think that his wife would kill the children, right? Like, it just never crossed his mind. And I don't think Shanann would ever imagine she would do that. But when you're in a situation where you're not familiar with, these things can happen. Especially when you're depressed, you don't know what kind of state you're in. And especially when you're in fear of your life, you don't know what you're capable of doing. And I just think we should consider this to be the truth, because for me it just sounds more logical, more reasonable that this is what actually happened, than to think he just simply wiped out his kid and wife just to be with someone who barely knows, who he barely has a relationship with. And it just doesn't make logical sense in that way. And yeah, I just don't see it being any other way that it can happen.